Section 1 from the book of Genesis. Enoch lived 65 years and became the father of Methuselah. After he became the father of Methuselah, Enoch walked with God 300 years and became the father of other sons and daughters. All the days of Enoch were 365 years. Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Methuselah lived 187 years and became the father of Lamech. After he became the father of Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years and became the father of other sons and daughters. All the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and then he died. Lamech lived 182 years and became the father of a son, and he named him Noah, saying, "This one will comfort us in our work and in the toil of our hands, because of the ground which forever one has cursed." After he became the father of Noah, Lamech lived 595 years and became the father of other sons and daughters. All the days of Lamech were 777 years, and then he died. Noah was 500 years old, and Noah became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. When men began to multiply on the surface of the ground, and daughters were born to them, God's sons saw that men's daughters were beautiful, and they took any that they wanted for themselves as wives. For everyone said, "My spirit will not strive with man forever, because he also is flesh. So his days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were in the earth in those days, and also after that, when God's sons came in to men's daughters and had children with them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. For everyone saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart all day was only evil. For everyone was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him in his heart. For everyone said, "I will destroy man, whom I have created from the surface of the ground, man, along with animals, creeping things, and birds of the sky, for I am sorry that I have made them." But Noah found favor in forever one's eyes. Section 2 from the book of Joshua. When the king of Ai saw it, they hurried and rose up early, and the men of the city went out against Israel to battle, he and all his people, at the time appointed before the Arabah. But he didn't know that there was an ambush against him behind the city. Joshua and all Israel made as if they were beaten before them, and fled by way of the wilderness. All the people who were in the city were called together to pursue after them. They pursued Joshua and were drawn away from the city. There was not a man left in Ai or Bethel who didn't go out after Israel. They left the city open and pursued Israel. For everyone said to Joshua, "Stretch out the javelin that is in your hand toward Ai, for I will give it into your hand." Joshua stretched out the javelin that was in his hand toward the city. The ambush arose quickly out of their place, and they ran as soon as he had stretched out his hand, and entered into the city and took it. They hurried and set the city on fire. When the men of Ai looked behind them, they saw, and behold, the smoke of the city ascended up to heaven, and they had no power to flee this way or that way. The people who fled to the wilderness turned back on the pursuers. When Joshua and all Israel saw that the ambush had taken the city, and that the smoke of the city ascended, then they turned again and killed the men of Ai. The others came out of the city against them. So they were in the midst of Israel, some on this side and some on that side. They struck them, so that they let none of them remain or escape. They captured the king of Ai alive, and brought him to Joshua. When Israel had made an end of killing all the inhabitants of Ai in the field, in the wilderness in which they pursued them, and they had all fallen on the edge of the sword until they were consumed, all Israel returned to Ai, and struck it with the edge of the sword. All that fell that day, both of men and women, were 12,000, even all the men of Ai. For Joshua didn't draw back his hand, with which he stretched out the javelin, until he had utterly destroyed all the inhabitants of Ai. Only the livestock and the spoil of that city Israel took for prey to themselves, according to the word of forever one which he commanded Joshua. So Joshua burned Ai, and made it a heap forever, even a desolation to this day. He hanged the king of Ai on a tree until the evening, and at sundown Joshua commanded, and they took his body down from the tree, and threw it at the entrance of the gate of the city, and raised a great heap of stones on it, that remains to this day. Then Joshua built an altar to Forever One, the God of Israel, in Mount Ebal, as Moses the servant of Forever One commanded the children of Israel. As it is written in the book of the law of Moses, an altar of uncut stones, on which no man had lifted up any iron. They offered burnt offerings on it to Forever One, and sacrificed peace offerings. He wrote there on the stones a copy of the law of Moses, which he wrote in the presence of the children of Israel. All Israel, and their elders and officers, and their judges, stood on this side of the ark, and on that side before the priests, the Levites, who carried the ark of Forever One's covenant, the foreigner as well as the native, half of them in front of Mount Gerizim, and half of them in front of Mount Ebal, as Moses the servant of Forever One had commanded at the first, that they should bless the people of Israel. Afterward he read all the words of the law, the blessing and the curse, according to all that is written in the book of the law. There was not a word of all that Moses commanded, which Joshua didn't read before all the assembly of Israel, with the women, the little ones, and the foreigners who were among them. Section 3, from the first book of Chronicles. The sons also of Hezron who were born to him were Jerahmeel, Ram, and Chelubai. Ram became the father of Amminadab, and Amminadab became the father of Nahshon, prince of the children of Judah. And Nahshon became the father of Salma, and Salma became the father of Boaz, and Boaz became the father of Obed, and Obed became the father of Jesse. And Jesse became the father of his firstborn Eliav, and Amminadab the second, and Shemaiah the third, Nathanael the fourth, Radai the fifth, Ozem the sixth, and David the seventh. Their sisters were Zeruiah and Abigail. The sons of Zeruiah were Abishai, Joab, and Asahel, 3 in all. Abigail bore Amasa, and the father of Amasa was Jether, the Ishmaelite. Caleb, the son of Hezron, became the father of children of Azubah, his wife, and of Jerioth, and these were her sons, Jesher, Shobab, and Ardon. Azubah died, and Caleb took to him Ephrath, who bore him Hur. Hur became the father of Uri, and Uri became the father of Bezalel. Afterward Hezron went in to the daughter of Machir, the father of Gilead, whom he took as wife when he was 60 years old, and she bore him Seguv. Seguv became the father of Jair, who had 23 cities in the land of Gilead. Geshur and Aram took the towns of Jair from them, with Kenath and its villages, even 60 cities. All these were the sons of Machir, the father of Gilead. After Hezron died in Caleb Ephrathah, then Abijah, Hezron's wife, bore him Ashur, the father of Tekoa. The sons of Jerahmeel, the firstborn of Hezron, were Ram, the firstborn, and Bunah, and Oren, and Ozem, and Ahijah. Jerahmeel had another wife, whose name was Atara. She was the mother of Onam. The sons of Ram, the firstborn of Jerahmeel, were Maaz, and Jamin, and Eker. The sons of Onam were Shammai and Jada. The sons of Shammai were Nadab and Abishur. The name of the wife of Abishur was Abihail, and she bore him Arban and Molid. The sons of Nadab were Seled and Appaim, but Seled died without children. The son of Appaim was Ishi. The son of Ishi was Sheshan. The son of Sheshan was Alai. The sons of Jada, the brother of Shammai, were Jether and Jonathan, and Jether died without children. The sons of Jonathan were Peleth and Zaza. These were the sons of Jeremiah. Section 4, from the book of Matthew. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you don't forgive men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Moreover, when you fast, don't be like the hypocrites, with sad faces, for they disfigure their faces, that they may be seen by men to be fasting. Most certainly, I tell you, they have received their reward. But you, when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that you are not seen by men to be fasting, but by your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Don't lay out treasures for yourselves on the earth, where moth and rust consume, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust consume, and where thieves don't break through and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will also be. The lamp of the body is the eye. So if your eye is sound, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is evil, your whole body will be full of darkness. If even the light that is in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You can't serve both God and Mammon. Therefore I tell you, don't be anxious for your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor yet for your body what you will wear. Isn't life more than food, and the body more than clothing? See the birds of the sky, that they don't sow, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns. Your heavenly Father feeds them. Aren't you of much more value than they? Which of you, by being anxious, can add 1 moment to his lifespan? Why are you anxious about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They don't toil, neither do they spin. Yet I tell you that even Solomon in all his glory was not dressed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which today exists and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, won't he much more clothe you, you of little faith? So don't be anxious, saying, what will we eat? What will we drink? Or with what will we be clothed? For the Gentiles seek after all these things. For your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But seek first God's kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. So don't be anxious for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Each day's own evil is sufficient.